Good morning, Sean Childs, fantasy analyst on Substack.com, also on Fantasy on SI. NFBC main event waiver wire on September 7th, I guess. I think I put it on September 8th, so I'll have to retitle that. But anyways, yeah, football season's going to kick off. All the drafts done. I'm really busy last couple of weeks. Sorry about doing the video instead of the written content. It's just too much going on. And I got a first priority of working for Fantasy SI, and that just really takes up a lot of time. But just interesting that as we move through the season, you keep, you got your teams that you think that will do something. And I've had these teams all in the 90s in the June, and just they haven't played better, and I haven't made them better, and it's just frustrating. But before I get to that, just quick look at the overall. Same guy in the NFBC main event's been leading for a long time. The gap was closed for a little bit in August with round trippers was getting kind of close to him, but he opened up the gap. He's holding a comfortable lead with 3 weeks to go. Greg Martin, who's in one of my main events, has really pushed up. He's all the right pieces for him have been on the waiver wire, and unfortunately for my friend Rick Thomas, he has got a little bit of battle to catch him. Hopefully he can give it a run. I'm not sure of the free agent money on either side, and it's kind of interesting. I did a quick look at this. That both the top two pitching teams in the NFBC this year are in first and second in the overall. That's pretty impressive. So they're basically probably have especially with Greg's team, he has a little bit of advantage where he might be able to pick off at some of the slow pacing people at the back end to gain some points, but he's also at the mercy of being behind by 450 points with a short period of time. So that's what it's looking like for the main event. And as far as me, like I said, I've had this one team. I've had fourth team that I drafted. It's got 98.5 points. I got in the top 150 in the overall. I got as far as second place. I think I was at 105 points, but I lost 6.5 points over the last 4 or 5 days. In my other two main events, you got a 94, and the other one that's 88. So I'm on the doorstep of cashing on some of these teams, and just not really happening. But we will see what happens there. And the NL, I'm still sitting in third. I'll get some money back there. But let me just look at this one team. I want to see. Actually, I want to look at this one first because this one was 94, and yeah, this one's kind of difficult for me to get to. Three teams fighting it out at the top, and they're at 113, 112, 110, and I don't think I have really. I could get maybe a point in runs, home runs. I would need a serious push. RBIs, I could get one or two. Stolen bases, I would need a real push. Batting average, not really moving much. Strikeouts, I could pick up 3 reasonably easy, and I might be able to get 4 in wins if things really went well. Kind of in the middle of the pack in saves, where it kind of, if you need wins and the ERA and whip in second, there's enough points probably to gain 10 points or there, but to cash and somebody would have to back into me. But as far as the other main event that's kind of hanging around, that was, like I said, the first place team last week, and it was around a 111. I think I was at 104.5, and I've kind of jockeyed backwards. But within 10 RBIs of 3 points, home runs, I'm within 5 home runs of 3 points. So that's 6. Couple, not close to 2 RBIs. That's 8. Stolen base need a little bit of work, but 1 maybe, and batting average possibly 1 could lose on. So that's about 8 or 9 points in offense. That gets me at 107 or so. Strikeouts, I'm not really making firing up here. I'm trying to hold off this guy at 1,101, but not going to make any damage there. I'm in the gap down, and wins would really need a big win week, and that's probably not going to happen. And I could gain a half there. Saves, I could gain some here and lose. ERA, I'm in second. Whip, I'm in first. I did back up in ERA a little bit. Had a couple of beatings for the week. So there's 9 or 10 points there, and it's possible if the team in first backed up, really having a piss poor offensive week. No steals, 6 home runs, 26 RBIs is really a disappointing. Strikeouts really down, didn't match up well. I must have maybe I get somebody pitching on the weekend, but yeah, just really back end of the pitchers trying to make I got a lot of work to do there. So don't have a lot of money left. I think I left myself probably most of these $10 to $12, like with 9 or 12 moves. Let me see what I got here. I have 12 moves left of the year, so 12 $1 bits. So, so as far as the free agent pool, the top catchers, remain to be as far as at bats, the same core players. Patrick Bailey played better over the past week, 7 for 19 with a home run, 5 runs, 4 RBIs. He's a 70% free agent. Really didn't do much. He hadn't hit a home run for about 8 weeks, and basically no production over here. So he will be there for if somebody wants us to put somebody in a week, trending a little bit higher, but nothing special. Trevino for Cincinnati got a few at bats, didn't hit a home run. The catcher for Baltimore's day to day. I don't see that hand soreness. He's out of lineup on Sunday, but I imagine the backup there. Torrens is still Francisco Alvarez returned from the DL, but he didn't. I think he had a pinch hit on Saturday night, and I don't know about if he played Friday, but Torrens has played pretty well over the last 2 weeks. Really comes down to when, like I had Alvarez on a lot of teams, and when your player gets hurt, sometimes that guy that replaces him in the starting lineup is the best option, and it worked out in this case because he had 2 really good weeks. He was 9 for 27, hit 333, 8 runs, 3 home runs, 13 RBIs, even stole a base, and really helped him bat and average. He's worth a flyer this week. I'm going to just check on Alvarez to see if he end up playing on. I know they called him up on Friday, but where the other catcher is playing so well, I would imagine that he didn't get in the lineup. So let's see this. Yeah, so Francisco Alvarez, idle Saturday. So no, he went 1 for 4 on Friday with 2 strikeouts. 1 strikeout, pinch hitting the next night. When he kind of struggled when he come back. He had those couple of hand injuries, but he did hit a home run and 4 RBIs on September 3rd. But he only had 4 games back and battling 2 hand issues, but he is catching. So, and he does have power. So, and I would imagine he was cut in a lot of leagues. Let me just look at the Mets to see as I'm talking about him. Yeah, 68% free agent. He's a viable pickup for sure, based on his potential and power. But really frustrating player for me. I think he had 18 home runs this year, with 11 of them in minors, and I thought he would be in up all year, and not that he was a difference maker, and he was fairly priced. We're just going like the 19th round because he was going to miss some time. Victor Carantini came back off I think he had a concussion. He had 10 at bats, 6 for 10. I think Diaz had 3 hits last night, but some, with Yordan Alvarez back there, it kind of blocks up the DH. Yeah, and there's really not, they could play him at the DH position if they play Alvarez in the outfield. That's the wrong page here. Sorry. And let's see, anybody else at the catcher position? Hedges, nothing. Yeah, there's not really. I know the Dodgers have a little bit of injury issues at catcher. Will Smith was a little dinged up, didn't play, and then the backup catcher. So let me see who they called up. It looks like Smith will play today, so we don't really have to go there. So, but yeah, catchers are really just the Mets situation. Grab somebody in San Francisco, and then I guess Pages would still be out there for who has some power for. He's a 26% free agent for St. Louis. As far as first base, Curtis Mead. For the past week, he qualifies at first, second, and third. He has the most at bats of anybody that qualifies at first base. 9 for 25, 5 runs, 2 RBIs. Pretty talented player, just hasn't hit his stride in the majors. Probably makes more sense at second base, but you need him to run or hit a home run. But he potentially could be a slight asset in batting average. But he is 89% free agent. Peraza for the Angels struck out 9 times at 21 at bats. I don't think that's anything. Rivera for Baltimore filling in, getting a few at bats. Not a big profile name. Romy Gonzalez gets a little bit of bump with somebody on Boston. Gets with somebody got on the DL, so he might potentially be a slide over second base. Once they lost Roman Anthony, he would get a bump in at bats. And so he has been pretty productive for multiple weeks, can hit a home run, qualifies at second base. I still think that's his best position. But a little slowed down a little here, 2 for 14. But the last 2 weeks, he's been 16 for 37, 3 runs, 6 RBIs. Not really helpful in the other counting categories with no. He offers mid-level speed, and he hasn't had a home run in 5 weeks. But he is capable, and his playing time is trending higher. Let's see, Dominic Smith getting a little more at bats, 7 for 19, 2 runs, 2 RBIs. Not really, kind of a disappointing career for him. But last week he had a pretty good week. He was 4 for 11 with a home run, 6 RBIs, 4 runs. So $1 fill-in if you need somebody at first base. And not much. Mayo is qualified at third for Baltimore. Just really hasn't he does have a home run in 6 of the last 7 waiver periods with not just big production as far as RBIs or runs, but he is getting some stuff. And so I would actually say that's a positive for him. He's, putting the ball over the fence, making big the contact, strikeout rate's a little bit high, close to 30%, 27% or so. But overall his production, 4 home runs over 100 at bats, that'd be a 21 home run hitter. He's pacing about 65 runs, 65 RBIs, but he potentially could be better. He is, where is he now? I lost my train of thought here. Yeah, so he's a 25% free agent in the main events. Locklear, hey, he showed a spark here for think he would do something for Arizona. Really struggled over the previous 2 periods. Was 1 for 24 with 13 strikeouts. He bounced back this week, 5 for 16 with a solo home run, 3 runs. And he does have a lot of speed on his minor league resume. Thought he'd be a better player. Showed a little spark in here when his first 2 weeks up, and he had 2 home runs and he had a steal, but just really hasn't got it. But he's a young enough player where he could play a lot better. And he is a 58% free agent. Jake Berger returned from the injured list, hit a home run, 3 for 15. Definitely that would probably be the most attractive power first baseman that would be out there. He would, but he is going to be a little bit of batting average risk. He's a 30% free agent. Let's see here. Pretty much looking at last night, Jack Caglione actually had 2 hits and he had 2 runs. Wilmer Flores over the last week, he has a home run and 3 RBIs. He's definitely trending higher than he was after he had that slump. So he's got a home run in 3 consecutive periods, even with less at bats. He's at, but it runs 6 RBIs, 5 runs, not ideal. But if you need a home run and he gets a little more, if you give him a few more at bats, like I said, I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, he was hard earlier in the year, and sometimes players refire again, and he is hitting home runs. And as a fill-in, potentially, I think that he is worth a flyer. And especially when you're, when you got a $1 or $2 and you can bid on a player and you're just looking for at bats, and you had a recent injury. Zach, I talked about minutes. Zach Geloff is the guy. It was the guy that I picked up a couple of weeks ago somewhere. Kind of really frustrated you when he struck out 13 times and 22 at bats, but he bounced back pretty good this week. Strikeouts still too high. He had 9 and 22 at bats, but he had 7 hits. He had another home run, 5 runs, 2 RBIs. Didn't steal a base, but he is capable. 40% owned, so he does bring the batting average risk. He is streaky, but the Athletics is scoring a lot of runs. They scored 17 last night, so he is he's definitely worth a flyer, and he does have some power. And we talked about Trilio last week. Same thing. He just continues to hit a little bit for average. Doesn't offer a lot of power. He did hit 2 home runs 3 scoring periods ago, but last 2 weeks he did hit over close to 300 with 8 runs, 2 RBIs, and a steal. Just not enough power or stolen bases, but for at bats, he's getting them and will help him bat an average. And he is only a 3% owned. So what am I talking about him for? Brooks Baldwin, my guy that I've talked about all year, that hasn't fired, but he's still, his stats for the year when you look at him are okay. Strikeouts a little bit high, but his minor league stats are really good. Over the last week, 4 runs, 3 RBIs, 1 stolen base, 6 for 19. Showed a little bit better. Control in the strike zone a lot better with 4 strikeouts, over 19 at bats. So still qualifies a lot of positions. I think still think he's viable and capable of a streak. Still remains in free agent in 25% of leagues. Brian Raccio is he's actually been a really helpful player for the last 4 scoring periods. He's got a home run in 3 of them, and he does have 2 stolen bases in 1 of them. His RBIs have been graded much better over the strand. He's got 13 compared to his runs. He had 7. Batting average has been a little bit trailing over these periods, but overall he's been chipping in. Hits at the bottom lineup, can't offer much. He's got 4 home runs over 270 at bats, 5-6 steals. So his overall stats aren't that great, but he is a player. Looks like he's improving a little bit. 56% free agent. Gavin Lux is what it is. Frazier is just a fill-in. McLean got dropped in a few leagues. He looks like he's refiring again, doing something. I talked about Sagasi last week. Thought he would be a helpful batting average player. Really didn't do it this week. 3 for 15, 1 run, 1 RBI. Hasn't hit a home run since the week 2 of the season. But I think he's a better player, and it just isn't maybe not going to happen. Angel Martinez was helpful for a couple of weeks early in the year, but he hasn't really, hasn't had a home run in a month, 1 run in a month, no RBIs, nothing. And so back here he had 3 home runs, 8 RBIs. Next week he was okay. Got at bats the following week, and they kind of slowed down. But he doesn't look like he's trending back in the right direction. And a lot of times these managers will give you a signal because they moved him up in the batting order when he was playing well, and they moved him back down. Nacho Alvarez is just 6 for 13, okay, but 2 runs, no home runs. Still has no had a home run this year. He's got a 3-game hitting streak, hits in 4 of the last 5 games, but no production. But he is getting at bats, and he's worth somewhat of a flyer, I guess, at the back end. Massey was 3. He didn't get a full-time role. They rotated him in. Looks like with Nick Lufton, who had about the same at bats, and both players probably have a little bit of batting average, and they need to put the ball in the seats. But Massey does have double-digit home run power, and Lufton is a better player, but he just will never get a regular job. Ryan Fitzgerald, that's somebody in Minnesota. So Kim Ha-Sung King, Hee-Sung King came back off the injured list, went 0 for 6 in a part-time role. And but if you're looking for speed, he might be the type of guy that could give some flash base dealing. Let's see, shortstop, probably the same cast of characters as the other positions. Some of these guys qualify at 2 positions. Yeah, Gonzalez, Darnell Harnees, Daryl Harnees of the Athletics continues to get some at bats. He didn't have an RBI last week. 4 runs, 5 for 18. Just hasn't had a home run in a month and 1 steal. Just that's not the type of player that you're looking for. You need some home runs or steals most likely, unless you're trying to protect batting average. So he is 0 for 3 in that situation. I thought this was a good pickup for the Braves. Have had huge problems all year at shortstop. They've had nobody, but the Rays cut him at the end of September. Braves picked him up immediately, went 5 for 15, had a game-winning 3-run home run. So he had 4 RBIs for the week and a run. He does have steals, and I think he is going to be probably a guy that's going to be in the lineup most of the time for the rest of the year. And he could be sneaky. Maybe the batting average will fall a little more on the neutral side, where there's a little bit of batting average risk. He's kind of struggled, but I would think that he would be a decent player. And then Joey Ortiz, who played well before, in the middle of August, when in this range, when he had 3 weeks where he was pretty productive. He had 21 hits over 66 at bats. He had some runs. He still hasn't had a home run in 6 periods, but 1 for 17 this week. He wasn't helpful. Didn't really do much, and but he could, play a little better if they're playing at home. But he's 35% free agent, but one of the better options in the free agent pool at middle infield there. Probably Ritter, Gunner. Yeah, so the rest of these are same thing that not somebody getting enough at bats. I mean, I guess this? Yeah, I guess the Carmelo Carvalho guy from the Yankees. Let's see here. Mead, same person at third base. Peraza, there is somebody at third base that follows. Yeah, the Cincinnati, the best player I believe is for Cincinnati, unless he qualifies at maybe I missed him at first base. Yeah, so Sal Stewart is the one that's I missed him. I apologize for that. You know, he's a little lower, but he had a home run, 2 RBIs and 2 runs over 12 at bats. He had a really good, productive triple. I think he played at AA and AAA this year. He was really good at both places combined. He would be the top first baseman available. And let's see if my mouse will cooperate here. So over the at AA and AAA this year, my mouse is moving slow, like I'm got special needs. Let me hide this thing so I can read this bottom line here. So in the minors this year, he had 437 at bats, 78 runs, batted .309, 20 home runs, 80 RBIs, 17 steals. Nice balanced player that qualifies at first base, and he is the best available player at that position. And I missed him because of some of these things. It's hard to see when they're rank a little bit lower in their bats and you're moving kind of fast. And he is a free agent in every league, so that's pretty good player. So if you got your $5 you might want to fire because it's just I would imagine my friend Eddie Gillis that's got $350 of free agent money left with 1.5 weeks left. No, he's got 3 weeks left. He will be able to get that guy, no problem. But hey, if you're in the battle and you can get the right pieces at the end of the game and you win the league, that's all you're looking for. So having the buying power late in the year is helpful. There's just really nobody else really at the back end of the third base pool. It's really kind of I'm sorry, I'm looking at the first base, looking for help, and I'm wasting more time. Yeah, this third base, just to make sure I'm on the right thing. Urias got a little bit of bats for Houston, was 3 for 16, had a home run. He's been sneaking in the past for Baltimore. He had 4 RBIs. I think that he's worth maybe a flyer. Mikata is a 32% free agent, 5 for 15. He has played pretty good over the last couple weeks. Even though he hasn't hit the home runs, he actually had 3 home runs 2 scoring periods ago. So his batting average is trailing. Runs are okay. And strikeouts are a little bit high, but he's capable. He's a 32% free, in the free agent pool. Brian Hayes playing all right, but 7% free agent, not enough there. What's his name? Brady House was getting dropped in leagues. He's 46% free agent, but he had a home runs, 3 for 13, 2 RBIs. He does have some talent, and he's got hits in 4 of his last 6 games. Maybe he's trending higher, so I think that maybe he's potentially worth a flyer. You're looking for a fill-in at third base, utility or corner position. Norby got sent back down for an injury for Miami, opening up the door, and that is another player that slips through the crack that it's easy to. Once I see the Norby, I can find him. It's the Maximo Acosta, sorry. He got called up earlier in the year for Miami, and he had 3 home runs over, quick at bats, in which he really didn't show that. But this year at AAA, he had 14 home runs, 31 steals, hit 234 over 394 at bats, and then, like I said, he came up to the majors, had 3 home runs relatively quickly, but they shoved him back to the minors. But he's back, so he has a little bit of power and a little bit of speed. Definitely brings batting average risk. And let me just make sure where he qualifies to see where. Make sure I'm not pointing in the wrong direction, and I'm bouncing all over the place here. Let's see. So I think that's so he only qualifies second base. So a viable speed out for sure. But oops, we're on the wrong one. Yeah. So. I think he's an interesting player, and he should get playing time for sure the rest of the way. And there's really not much there behind the, as far as seeing the at-bats at the top of the player pool, I'm moving a little quicker this week. I'm trying to get done this by, it's 11:22 at my time. I'm trying to get done at noontime because I have to check the news for the injuries for football and do a last couple minute lineup changes. Let's see, outfielders. All these are all high percentage. Jones on all of these. The lowest down is Lyle for Washington. Dylan Lyle has been pretty good this week. He's 9 for 19 with 6 runs, a home run, 6 RBIs. He did steal a base. Has a little bit of speed on his resume. Has 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steals over their last, looks like about 11 periods with only 3 home runs, but he has chipped in a couple of those periods with 4 RBIs, 4 RBIs, 5 RBIs. Runs have been kind of that 3 to 4 range a lot, so he is trending higher. I think he qualifies at, no, he's just in outfield. So he was definitely a player of interest. 23% owned, free agent. Nolan Jones, we have lost faith in you. Bryson Teodosio is a base stealer, stole 1 base, but he's 2 for 18, getting pump playing time. Really hasn't fired. Thought he would be a little better player. His minor league resume, look at that, he's got 6 hits over 48 at bats and just really hasn't done anything. Stole a base in back-to-back weeks, but he is potentially, he does have a little bit of power and a little bit of speed, but you would be daring to put him in your lineup, but I think there is something there. Cleveland called up Joe Kensky, Noel, and he had a home run this week. I don't know what he did in the minors, so might as well look him up and see why he's getting an increase of playing time. Let's see here. Cleveland Guardians. No, also Slane Thomas is still out, and Noel, where are you? All right, let's see here. This year in the minors, he had 273 with 12 home runs and 39 RBIs over 227 at bats with 22 runs. So the power stayed in line. Strikeout rate was less than 25%. He was trending higher over his last, say, 11 or 12 days at AAA. 10 games, he went 12 for 32 with a home run, 8 RBIs, 5 steals. So he does have power, and I'm not 100% sure he's going to, be in the lineup every day. But Kwan's playing center field. There is an opportunity in left field. So if he's hitting home runs, he's going to get some playing time. He does have power, and he's going to be relatively cheap. And we'll see what happens as far as his longer-term opportunity over the last 3 weeks of the season. Marsh, he's a 14% free agent. I know he's playing a little bit better. I saw that the Phillies moving him up in the batting order a little bit. Nathan Lukes is 25% free agent. Nothing there. Not enough. Austin Martin, they give him a bat to the top of the lineup. Drew Gilbert's the guy that's going to be the one that's going to be the popular play here. He's a free agent in every league. He got called up last week. He went 5 for 14, but he didn't get picked up in any league. It's kind of surprising. He had 5 RBIs and 3 runs. But this week he had 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, and 4 runs, and he was 7 for 15. I can't believe that. So he was not a free. Nobody picked him up in any main event. That's crazy. But let me see what he was doing in the minors. And where was I? Sleeping at the wheel. I guess you got to hit a home run to get put on the radar at that. Let's see. Gilbert. So he is replacing the playing time of Matos, who I actually like better. But this guy, he had 242 in the minors. I guess that's why I probably looked at him. He didn't have enough speed. He had 12 home runs, 47 RBIs, 45 runs. I just think that the Matos is a better player, but he got hot and he's been pretty good over the last 6 games. I don't think he profiles as well, and that could switch, which kind of makes people overbid for him and think he's going to play. And it's kind of frustrating. So Matos is 2 for his last 12, sat 2 days, and that's a result of the other player getting a hot bat. And that's that's the nature of the game. You can like all the players you want and you think they have talent, but we can't put them in the starting lineup. Eaton's been getting some playing time for Boston. He's a guy to play for Kansas City, but not really a high profile player. He used to play third base, and he's been playing a little bit in the outfield, I believe. Yeah, 11 games in the outfield, but he's not really anybody you want to fight for. He's a free agent in every league. Wegman's hit some home runs for Miami, but who knows if it's playing time. Blade is, wow, that's crazy. He had a monster week, and he's 88% free agent. What is going on? So he's last week. Look at that. The last 3 weeks, this guy went 3 for 33 with nothing. No RBIs, no home runs. And all these people probably cut him last week. I could bring up the sheet and to see what his cuts. But, then this week he's 7 for 14 with 6 runs, 4 home runs, 9 RBIs. That's pretty impressive. He will be re-picked up this week. And it's kind of interesting because they sent him to the minors this year. And he has, say, half the playing time. Last year he had 572 at bats. This year 276. He's he'd be on pace to hit 28 home runs and drive in 76 runs. Strikeouts would be a lot higher, 162, and the runs would be 94. So his production is actually better this year with a higher strikeout rate, and the batting average is worse. But he spent a lot of time in the minors. They just kind of dumped him down. But he was definitely he got hot and he hit 4 home runs this week. You're definitely going to be a player to pick up. I would probably prefer him over Drew Gilbert because I think his resume is much lower, and he has potential if he slumps for a couple of games to lose at bats. Or Blades, had success last year. It looks like he's trending higher, but they still have the Colby, is that other outfielder, the one that platoons for the Athletics, Colby Thomas, I believe. Yeah, I think he hit a home run there. So they got it's a little bit cloudy for them, but Butler is, it's just they've done a really good job of getting a pretty good offense if they can get their bats to come up. Come off the ride. So, but yeah, that's Isabel 3 for something, 3 for 14, not much. Jeff Snyder, Cam Smith, kind of had lost playing time for a while there and got cut, but he's 12%. And I talked about Colby Lewis. He's a talented guy. He had 30-something home runs, I think, in the minors this year. He's got a home run back-to-back weeks. He's got 5 home runs over the last 5 weeks, but it's just playing time is sporadic. I think he plays against, mostly lefties. But he probably deserves a little more playing time, but a little tougher to time. But maybe if they're playing 2 lefties in a week, I think he is viable in there. And I'm just gonna dip down at the second page of the outfielders with less at bats to see if there's anybody else that Conforto and Ruiz saying I surrender. I guess the Dodgers aren't going to call him up, and they keep putting Conforto out. Another 2 for 11, 5 strikeouts. Keep putting them out, Dodgers. That's why you're spending $1 billion and you're not going to win the World Series this year because you can't even make a basic lineup decision that this guy's not good. Sorry, I wrote about that last week or so. Yeah, there's not. I guess. Jamari Jones. Let's see, weekly. So he's 0 for 5 last week. This week, let me look at this game. So he's Now he's got over his last 4 games for Detroit. Was it Jamie Jones? He's 6 for his last 9 with 6 runs, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. That's pretty good for like that. Let me just look him up for see what he was doing in the minors there. But he's trending higher, showing a little bit of power. Where is he going to play? That's the question. Probably play a little bit at DH in the minors this year. He is a journeyman 28-year-old guy. He hit 276 in the minors, which is exactly what he's hitting in the majors this year with 6 home runs, 29 RBIs, over 170 at bats. So he translates to basically a 20 home run hitter with decent RBIs and runs based on his minor league profile. But I don't view him as a difference maker, and he has sat over the last 4 days. He has sat things. So more of a flyer than a target. But like you said, he hits home run, puts himself on the radar and there. So this is another player. I don't know why they didn't play him, but Victor Mesa Jr. is probably somebody that's he got called up in the end of August. He was up earlier in the year, didn't really do much, and he was in the free agent pool because I looked him at the National League. But he is a player that actually has a little more talent. I don't know why Miami just doesn't transition to give him a shot to see if he's got anything. If he does fire, let's see what he was doing in the minors. Let's see. So this year he was hitting 305. Missed some time earlier in the year, so he was hitting 305 at AAA. Over 120 at bats. He had 21 strikeouts. Strikeout rate was good. Took walks for about 10%, but he had 6 home runs, 26 RBIs, and 19 runs. So that's a guy that could hit 25 home runs on a pace to hit 100 RBIs with over 500 at bats. Had a little bit of speed on his earlier resume, but I think he's a helpful player in batting average. Controls the strikeouts okay. He hasn't done that, but he hasn't done much. But not a bad bench stash, especially if you want somebody to maybe the last couple of weeks of the year. But I think that's about it for the outfielders. Just nobody else really kind of. I know they called up Dominic Fletcher this week for the White Sox, but he's really not much. So yeah, but that's it there. I'm going to switch the starting pitching to next Monday to see what the starters got here. So we're doing pretty good as far as time. All right, so Arizona has an open spot on Monday. Chris Matt is somebody that's filled in earlier. He's at San Francisco, and he's got double starts. So let me see where he's at, because we're at this point of the year. The ugliest double starters get a chance. So he went 6 innings his last game, gave up 7 hits, 2 runs. Last start before that, he gave up 2 runs. So he's actually done pretty good since he got called up. Over 5 starts, and so he's got 2 ERA, 14 strikeouts, and 21 RBIs. But he is, when you look at it, I'll show his minor leagues. I looked at this earlier. He was 4.04 ERA, 1.24 WHIP. Not a lot of strikeouts, but just he's lining up. He's a 30-year-old guy that hasn't had much of a chance, but he looks like he's going to get double starts. Could be risky, and it's not, pitching in San Francisco is not a bad thing, but we'll see. So I can't imagine him costing too much. Not much on the athletics. All those pitchers are picked up. I don't think the Barnett guy is anything. I guess Elder would potentially be in the free agent pool in a lot of leagues because he's been kind of a dog all year. And Braves have been a dog actually all year as far as scoring runs and staying healthy and stuff. Let's see. Elder, 63% free agent. So he will be in a lot of pools. He has double starts. I would think that he faces the Cubs at home and he faces Houston. 2 pretty good offenses. And we'll see. Let's see what he's trending in the last couple of weeks here. He is, for the year, he's got a 5.54 ERA, but his last 3 starts, he's actually pitched pretty good. Last three starts, 20 innings, 15 strikeouts, 1 win, 1.35 ERA, 0.75 WHIP. So he is definitely trending higher. Got double starts, and you buy these guys when they're pitching better, and I would pick him up. And I'm looking for double starts, and he might be worth $1. He might be worth a $2 overbid. Our Tyler Wells, I don't believe he is in the free agent pool, but let me just check. I don't think he's. Let me see innings pitched. Oh yeah, he pitched last week. He is in the free agent pool. Yeah, so he made his start earlier this week. So Wells is a pitcher that's. He was a guy that was thought it would be a bullpen guy. He ended up being a lot better starter in 2023. For the Orioles, his WHIP was 0.99, which was really good with a 3.64 ERA. Not a big strikeout guy. Well, actually did pretty good in that thing. He has 117 over 118.2. Actually better than I thought. The year before, he was 76 over 103. So he did pop up that year. Walked for a little bit high, 34. But then he was hurt, missed time, and missed all the beginning of this year. Made 4 rehab starts, I believe, and 5 rehab starts at AAA this year. 2.70 ERA, 23 strikeouts over 23.1 innings. Did allow 3 home runs. Walked for 6. Was a little high, but not that bad. And the WHIP was 1.21. So he will be a popular pitcher to be picked up for sure this week. And if he pitches on schedule, it looks like he will have doubles next week. So at this point of the year, you're gonna have to take what they give you. This NS guy is just a fill-in guy. And I don't even want to embarrass to say this. I'm going to go look at Harrison for Boston. Thought he would be up last week, and nature of my season, as soon as this guy gets a chance, he gets an ankle injury, so he hasn't pitched, and who knows where he's at. So at some point he'll pitch for Boston. Might be in the playoffs, but he's not helping fantasy teams. But May's definitely going in the wrong direction, and I can't trust him. But it's just insane that a guy that has talent, you finally gets a chance, and he can't even help you out down the stretch. He should have pitched last week, or even pitched earlier, but that's another story. Not much on Cleveland. Not really. I'm not going to go into Colorado and the White Sox. Perez has been picked up. Smith's okay. Gibson Long struggled, and last week he got called back up and he got bashed by the Mets, I think. He gave up 6 runs, and 2 home runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. But at the minors, he was pitched pretty good in the minors. 35 strikeouts in 32 innings. Whip was fine, but the ERA, Whip was 106, and the ERA was 4.13, a little high. But he's pitching on midweek. He should bounce back. Detroit needs to win the games. That's at New York. I wouldn't want him there. Maybe it's somebody that you're thinking about for the last week of the year. He faces Cleveland the following week, and potentially because of his low innings, he might get double starts the last week of the season. Louis Garcia for Houston lines up for double starts. He would be probably one of the top pitchers available this week. He really threw the ball pretty good. In the first start, he only gave up 3 hits over 6 innings, no walks, 6 strikeouts, but 2 balls left the yard. He did pitch good in his 4 starts at AAA. In the rehab, he had 20 strikeouts over 17.1 innings with 4 walks. His ERA was 2.60 and 1.17 whip. But so definitely, he will be a popular pickup for there. So I would rank him first, Wells second in my rankings there, and probably what's his name from Atlanta, third. Well, he would definitely be third, based on his disaster downside if he struggles. Angels, this Daner guy, he walks too many guys. He's got double starts, and I guess he's a decent arm. He's only 21 years old, and he did have 85 strikeouts at over 82 innings. But he pitched in the minors here, 5 runs in 3 innings. He did have a 13 strikeout game on August 22nd. So if you're looking for strikeouts of potential, pitched okay last week for the Angels against Kansas City. Gave up 1 run over 5 innings with 4 strikeouts. But in general, the walks look like they're doomed for him. He's got 52 walks over 93 innings. So, but double starts are double starts. He does have K potential, and he could be the best looking kid on the street this week. Ferris, I don't know this player at all. He has some strikeout rate, 142 strikeouts in the minors. He made the jump from AA to the majors and handled himself okay in his first start. He gave up 1 run in 5 innings with 3 strikeouts. So and you'll see he was trending the last 4 starts at AA. He was trending higher. He had 32 strikeouts over 23.2 innings with only 18 hits, 6 walks. So I would think that he would, out of the 2 Angel ones, he would be more attractive, and he would face Seattle at home next week at Milwaukee. Probably not ideal. And then the last week of the season, maybe he could have a double starts. Nothing on the Dodgers. I think Junk guy's got double starts, but he's been cut on a few teams. He was kind of backing up a little bit. It's 409, but the last couple, he's given up 6, 3, 3, 3, 3. But it's not that bad. Overall, he's been outperformed his skill set. Not a lot of strikeouts, but he does have doubles this week, and he will be in some pools because he was ditched. As far as not much on Milwaukee, Simon Richardson Woods, he could be a free agent this week. I'm not confident that he's going to get the double start. Because Bradley's in this. He had 7 strikeouts in the last start, but he's kind of up and down. I think they don't have him listed at RotoWire as a starter, but Bradley pitched well enough his last 2 starts for Minnesota, so I would think that they even go with 6 starters, and he's not even confirmed for Monday, so we'll see what happens there. I'm not going to go after him. Nothing on the Mets. I guess the Mets did Sprout. is getting called up for the Mets, but he is not in the free agent pool. He's 4.43 ERA, and at AAA this year, WHIP was better, 1.26. Too many walks, 54 over 122 innings, struck out 113, but not available. See what happens next week. At least you'll have a chance to see him pitch one game. Philadelphia, same. Bueller is on Philadelphia, facing Kansas City. Wasn't really that great for Boston. Face Arizona the following week. It looks like not much there though. I wouldn't kind of chase him down. Bubba Chandler looks like they're going to move him to starting rotation. This next start he faces Washington. I would imagine he got picked up in most leagues. They have Mike King here listed as starter. I don't think there's any chance this guy pitches. Trending towards a return next week. He's been throwing bullpen session. I guess maybe, but he hasn't been stretched out. I don't think enough. But I guess he's in the pool, and you want to dig deep and take a flyer on him maybe the last week of the season. But he's going to, need to get some pitchers under his belt before he gets picked up. San Francisco still, they still they haven't called up, what's his name? Let's see what Birdsong did in his last one. I thought he would be called up. They had an injury, 2 injuries last week. And I thought that he would get a chance. He had thrown 5 innings. He struck out 7. And let's see what his next start. And let's see his next start. He gave up 4 runs in 2 innings. So he, actually next 2 starts he struggled in the next one. So he is out of the equation, and he is in the launch program if any league you have him on. St. Louis, not much there. Looking for my mouse there. Sorry. St. Louis, not much. Same thing with Tampa Bay, Texas. Same. The Lats guy probably is a free agent for some teams. So that's about it. There's not really much, but there is 3 or 4 rounds that potentially could be helpful down the stretch. And but it's a grind, and it's just really a tough time of the year for me, as like overlap, especially on Sundays and stuff like that. But I'm still in the hunt in some leagues, and you just keep pushing up, and you never know if some teams can go back, or you have that one magical day where you get 8 home runs and like 24 RBIs, and you really push up the standings. A few years back, I had 2 of those days over like 3-week period, and it was really helpful for me to gain some ground. But that's how you close gaps on people ahead of you in the standings. So keep managing, and good luck down the stretch.